Hello. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Hope everyone's well.
Well.
Sorry about the last month and how we've not had
Please
an
forgive
episode.
us.
We can blame Z for that because
I hold my hands up.
she
I
needs to get her
apologise.
hair done, so someone double booked.
Priorities. Joke is not priority. This is my number one priority.
But today we have our first guest.
Hi.
Celine. She,
Welcome. Thank you.
is a wellness coach, mindset coach.
Yeah, I never know how to define myself. I used to call myself a life coach.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm more of a mindset coach now. Like,
Yeah.
I am a life and mindset coach, but I feel like the mind is where, like, I thrive.
Nice. And how did you
Yeah.
get into that sort of thing?
It's such a long story. I think I officially started a business last April, so it would have been April 2023.
Yeah.
And I started really getting into wellness in the lockdown.
Okay.
I think I just realised I had so much stuff to work through, like so many like traumas and emotions, and I was so like I had no confidence. Like I never would have been able to cover this.
Oh,
like I would have been
really?
like, no.
You would not even expect
You're a natural.
it.
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh really? Thank
Yeah,
you.
you come across really confident.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think I've just worked on myself a lot. Like I used to be scared of everything. Like
Yeah.
scared of doing anything out of my comfort zone. And then I think I just worked on myself so much and did a lot of like, to get really spiritual, like inner child healing and,
Yeah.
you know, all of that like mindset work. And then I think I was like, I'm quite good at this. And that would have been uncomfortable to say as well. Like
Yeah.
a year ago, I'd be like, no, I could never say like, I'm great, because I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then I think now I just have a lot of self-belief, and I've done a qualification in NLP, which is like, it stands for neuro-linguistic programming, which is like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's very technical. It's like the analysis
She
of
fancy.
pretend I know like all the science, but no, it is really good. It's like neuro-linguistic programming, so like the brain, the emotions, and how we like adapt to our behaviours and our traumas over time. So yeah, very sciencey, and I never would have considered myself like that kind of sciencey person, but it just really resonates with me. So yeah, I could go on about it for hours.
So
Please do.
So do you think before it was kind of like you had this like barrier, and it was like you had one person when you were going out trying to be confident, but then like you actually were just like the shy, timid person inside?
Yeah, I think I had so much like body image issues and self-confidence issues, and it would be, no one would know, like almost like a front, I think. And I
Yeah.
think people knew me as like the scared girl that was really sensible.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why they thought that was because I wasn't being my like authentic self. I would never speak up when I felt something was wrong or like stick up for myself. And I'd really notice it when I'd see like old friends like go off to uni and come back, and then like I would stick up for myself, and they'd be like, oh, like
They're like, oh,
you would
she-
never have done that before.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's who I am. I just like hid it from you for so long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say like now those two like personalities are one, but before it was, yeah, I just hated it. I don't even know like where it came from. I just didn't like who I was, and I wasn't confident. But I think now I've done that for myself. So now I just love like helping other people do that, because when we're in our 20s, it's so hard,
Oh my
isn't
God,
it?
aren't they?
I think we
Like-
spoke about
Yeah,
our
we had an
24.
episode about this.
Yes,
and it
I
was
think I listened.
Like, I feel like the young, like your early 20s are like the most confusing time.
So confusing.
Yeah.
You have so much to learn, and
Yeah.
like people are like, you have to do this, this, and this, or like follow this timeline, or you know, be
Yeah.
with this person, or
Yeah.
like do that. And
Be
it's
married
like,
at this age.
yeah,
Buy a house at this
Yeah.
age. It's like, I don't
Yeah.
want to do any of that. I just want to be me.
yeah, that's it. And you feel like you just follow this like almost an autopilot, like you've got to tick all these things off. But I think I just realised we're all so different, and how can we all be so different but follow the exact same path? Like that doesn't make sense.
yeah.
I think it is like society and like social media, and everyone's like doing certain things. So people are like, this person done it. Oh my God, I need to do it. And
Or
if
you
they
feel like
don't
you're
do
behind
it,
if you're not.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like you're always catching up. It's like you're running, but like never getting to the finish line. Yeah, no, it's actually crazy. I remember I was talking at work in my previous job when you mentioned about being like yourself. I was like, you need to be like unapologetically yourself all the time. And like I'm trying to be that person. Like if you don't accept me for me, keep stepping. Like
Yeah.
that's just
it.
not my probs.
That's the thing, like
That's not my problem.
Not my problem.
yeah, I think I've realised as well that you cannot please everyone, even when you're trying to. And even if you're like the best version of you and everyone loves you, there's always someone that will hate you for it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I've just realised you do have to be a bit selfish and just think for yourself and stop worrying about, you know, what that person thinks of you or that person, even though it's harder said than done.
Ever since like
Easier
you've
said
done
than
all
done.
your healing, have you lost like any friendships or relationships with people?
Yeah.
Really?
I think we were talking about this before we came in, didn't we? Yeah, like, I think the thing is when you put yourself first, without even trying, like, people fall away from you and, like, people get triggered by you being your best self or, like, maybe striving to do things for your career that, like, seem, like, really far-fetched.
Yeah.
Or, like, chasing your dreams. And I think people do get triggered by that. And you either bring people in closer who are genuinely happy for you, and then the people that maybe are triggered by it or don't resonate with you, that's fine, but they will pull back.
Yeah.
And even like not just people but jobs, like I think I realised with like old jobs I was very, you know, just like putting up with it. And as soon as I started speaking up for myself and just like telling people I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that, I started attracting more of the things that I do want, which is how I have the job I have now.
Yeah.
Which was just like, it was so weird actually. I kind of decided I'm leaving this job, like it's not for me, at another job, and then I got this new job the same day I decided that.
Oh, no way.
And it was just
it's like a sign.
yeah,
It's meant to
like
be.
yeah, and I just realised like those little patterns of like getting rid of that thing, but then actually that attracts something better.
Yeah.
I think with a job, it's kind of like scary to like leave in a way. Like I was in my job for like 2.5 years, and I think I was just content and settled. And I think when people slowly start to leave, I was like, I actually don't want to be here. And it's such a hard thing to be like, I'm going to leave, because I was just so like fine doing like my day-to-day thing. And then when someone left in January, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go. Like, I'm just going to get up and go. And then I actually did. And within, like you said, you guys on the same day, within 2 weeks, I got a new job. And I was kind of like scared, like, oh my God, I might be out of work, might be doing this. But I just took the leap and I was like, cool, let me do it. And then I got a new job and I was like, oh my God, slay.
Oh, no, I love that. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Risks is like, life is just about taking risks. And I think the more you do that, the more you like do fall into alignment with like what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Yeah, that's something I really believe in.
And with like all your healing and everything, did you do that on your own, or did you go to like a therapy first and then for actually I really like to help other people? Or
I didn't actually. Yeah, I feel like people do ask me that, like, did you do therapy or did you like go to a coach yourself?
Yeah.
And I actually am in the stages now of finding my own coach, because I think, you know,
Okay.
I'm coaching people, and although I know what I'm talking about, I obviously have my own like things to work through, and I'm constantly learning. So it's something that I'm like looking for at the moment. But no, I feel like I did it all on my own, which was scary, but very empowering, I would say.
Yeah.
Just trying to face things that I didn't want to face.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be weird, someone coaching you, even though you coach other people? Like, would you be subconsciously, like, coaching, being like, oh, why are you coaching me this way? I would coach this way.
Maybe, yeah. But I think that's the beauty of it in a way, because I can't be like, you know, I don't know absolutely everything. So I feel like I'm always learning. And although I'm coaching other people, how can I coach someone if I'm not getting coached myself in a way?
Yeah.
I think you can hold yourself accountable. And I like to do that with some of my clients, you know, like it's a choice for them to hold themselves accountable. And although I'm there to guide them, they have to take some of their own, you know, accountability and responsibility for how, like, what their actions are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I never did the therapy or any of that. And I think what I do is slightly different to therapy. So, like, therapy I think is great and has helped a lot of my clients. But a lot of them come to me and say, you know, I did therapy for this long. I actually had a client recently who I am working with, and she said, you know, I did therapy for like 20 years, and then I've come to you and like you've helped me figure out like this issue about myself, because it was like the deep spiritual work that she realised she needed rather than talking about her issues.
Yeah.
I think therapy's sort of you just kind of vent in a way. So, like, I think it is good, but you are just kind of talking at somebody and then they would give you some more advice. But it's like, what do you do with that advice?
Yeah.
And it's like they can't say do this or do that. They're just sort of saying, I think you should do this. Oh, how do you feel about that? But it's not actually helping you in a way. And it's not like changing a mindset of different situations.
I think that's it. So like a lot of the work that I do is obviously I'll let them talk and open up, but then I will identify certain limiting beliefs that they might have that they would have said. Or I mean, recently I've had like people say, you know, there's one example where they were saying, you know, if I want to make more money, then I'll have to work hard, surely. And I was like, that's a limiting belief. And like they didn't realise that. Like it doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be this difficult, like long, boring, like lifelong thing of working. And just little things like that. So I think with a therapist, it's great. Yeah. I think maybe therapy is a good thing to do first. To just kind of allow you to open up.
And just like ease yourself into it.
Yeah. And then I think I do more of the deep work, which is, you know, analysing your emotions and the ways you think.
Yeah. So in like one of your sessions, is it face to face or like...
Yeah.
Oh, it is. And Zoom or?
It's normally Zoom.
Yeah.
So there have been a couple of people, like there was one, like people in like New York and like America and stuff.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Miss
that's
International.
International bit. But no, that's just been a couple of people, but that was like amazing. But then there are people here. I've done a few sessions like actually in person, but normally they'll be on Zoom because they might be like dotted around and it's easier for everyone. But yeah, it's good.
And is it like just like a couple of sessions, or just as long as they feel like they need?
Yeah, so it depends on the person. So I have a few clients that kind of like hop in and out when they feel they need it, like maybe like once a month, and then or like a one-off here, like I do like meditation sessions that might be like one-offs, and then but most of the time I have like clients who join for like 5 weeks or 10 weeks, which is I think better because I can actually work with them like consciously and see their progress every week.
Yeah.
I just think that's much better in terms of growth, and because you can do the session for like an hour and then you can go off and just like keep doing the things that you're doing and like not really working on it. But if you're being held accountable every week, then that's where
something that takes time.
That's where the real work comes in.
Do you think that's enough time? So let's say you said five weeks and 10 weeks. Do they come back after the 5 or 10 weeks, or do you think they're sort of okay?
I think it depends on the person. Like I've had one girl who is absolutely thriving, like top class, like A-star student sort of thing. Like she's only done like 3 sessions and she's like, you know, really thriving. Like she's like moved abroad. She's done like everything she wanted to manifest. And I just think like, I'm always like, I'm so proud of you. But then there's people that like might do 5 sessions and then they're like, oh, I don't want to stop yet. Like I want to keep going. But then you have people who are ready. So it just depends, I think, how quick they learn, how open they are to the experience, and how willing they are to work on themselves. But most of the time they are, because they've already taken that first step to be like, I want to do this. So yeah, I would say it differs.
And what sort of things have you done that is different to what you would have done 3 years ago?
Oh, good question.
Ooh.
That is
so
now.
many.
We're going deep now.
Yeah.
Do you mean for myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good question. So many things. I don't even know where to start.
Like, is it now like
endless.
a lifestyle for you? Like, it's like your routine now?
It is a routine. There's different stages as well. Like, there's the more minor, like, self-care stuff. So, like, I'll meditate every morning. I'll gym every morning. I will, like, read and journal and all of that stuff. But then I think that's what people think is self-love, which it is. But, like, it's also a lifestyle choice, like you said. So, like, even just in general conversations, like, the old me would have just been like, okay, and like wouldn't share my opinion.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm very like honest and not opinionated in an argumentative sense, but I will share my opinion. And I've also realised now that like I used to judge people so much. Like I would judge a lot. And I would always think like, you know, you think you're right. Like it's an ego thing. It's like, I'm right.
You're wrong. I am right.
I can't believe you said that.
Or like someone says something controversial and you're like, that's so rude. Like I would immediately do that. Whereas now I kind of think, you know, they're living their life, like they're living their experience of the world, which is so different to mine. And we might be different and that's okay. And I think it's just that acceptance of like other people and everyone thinks they're right. There is actually no right or wrong. It's almost just like a belief.
Yeah.
So yeah, just I think general conversations, how I carry myself.
Yeah.
I'm just a lot more, I used to do a lot of negative self-talk, like you're really anxious, you're really like shy and all of that stuff, like you're too nervous, you're not good enough for this. But now I'm like the other way, not to be like too big
you
for
love
my boots.
yourself.
Yeah, but I do love myself.
Yeah,
and I think that's an uncomfortable thing for people to admit, like that they love themselves, or it seems like very you know, egotistical, but it's actually not. It's actually quite,
I think there's a
beautiful
fine
in a
line
way.
of loving yourself and then actually being egotistical.
There's a big difference. So yeah, I think it's just loving myself, how I wake up in the morning. Like I think how you wake up in the morning is so important. Like if you wake up like, ugh, I'm dreading today, like it's going to be a dread. But if you wake up and kind of think, you know, I'm going to accept whatever happens today, even if it goes completely pear-shaped and worst case scenario happens, I'm okay and I'm going to survive and I'll be fine. And like you've survived all your hardships, so why can't I today, sort of thing. Just like one step at a time. But that doesn't mean to say I have bad days. Gosh.
I was literally going to ask
I was like, do you ever have a bad day?
I think people think that. They're like, you're so like happy all the time.
I was thinking, I was like, you're so zen. You saw you wake up like la 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 la.
I know. My friends actually made a TikTok and it was really funny. And it was like all our friendship group and then like how each person wakes up, and they just did me with like a sleep mask and like a journal. And I was like, stop it. But no, I have bad days. Gosh, like I think there's a big thing around like toxic positivity as well. And like if I'm feeling a certain way, I'm not going to be like, stop it, you're really happy. Because some days I will have like really bad days and just feel grumpy and angry at everyone. And we're girls, like in our 20s, we've got hormone changes, like everything. Like, so that plays a big part of it. But I think it's more just the acceptance of allowing myself to be sad now if I'm sad, rather than before I would be like, you're not allowed to be sad, like you must be happy. And it's like, that's just fake, like that's not real. And the more you do that to yourself, the more you actually like just hold on to tension and feel angry all the time, and then it will come out in arguments. Whereas now it's like just a much more clear-headed mind, I think.
It's very calm.
No, for sure.
Yeah, really calm.
I think there was this quote that I saw, and I'm trying to like live by it, and it was like, you can't control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. It's not about what happens to you, it's about how you react to make better choices.
Oh, I love that.
And when I saw that, I was like, Zero, you need to live by this. Just like adjust your mindset, adjust how you see things, adjust how you act, and everything will be fine. Maybe not everything will be fine, but it will eventually be fine. So that's me, 2024 quote.
We're in our self-healing era.
How about you girls anyway? What's the journey like? Are you girls interested in like healing? Like what?
I'm definitely
what are your
open
thoughts?
to it. I think at the moment I'm currently having therapy, not just for like, just because I want to better myself, become more self-aware sort of thing. So like that is at the moment my journey, and then just seeing where that goes. But like you said earlier, she does a lot of inner child healing, and it's actually mental to be like, oh my God, and then you look at your like younger self and you're like, oh, I just want to give you a hug. You just start feeling like a little bit sorry for yourself. But she was like, there was one session where we had, and she was like, go and do everything you wanted to do, like that you liked doing as a child, like go to the beach or go for a walk, go run in the mud sort of thing, that sort of stuff. And it was so weird how like as you grow older you forget all those little things and what actually keeps you kind of like grounded and at like peace.
Yeah, that's so true.
And did you jump in the mud?
I didn't jump in the mud, but I did go to the beach.
One step at a time.
I was thinking, where the hell's
Got
the
my
beach
wellies
in Bracknell?
No, I had to get trained. But,
That's still good though.
Yeah.
I think, as you're saying, therapy is good. I think I've been in and out of therapy for maybe like 2 years. And then I sort of did EMDR, which is sort of like going deep into like your childhood and like finding like a safe space and like sort of like meditating in a way. And then if it gets like too hard, you like go to your safe space. But then I think what I found difficult was I couldn't pinpoint the safe space, because it was like they would say, okay, find a room or like maybe somewhere you enjoy. And I'd think of something, but I always, for example, like my family home in Ghana, there's this like red living room, but that can't be my safe space because people go in the red living room. But I enjoyed being in the red living room because it reminded me of my granddad. And then she was like, but no, like you need somewhere where only you go, no one else is. So it was just like a back and forth sort of like, I can't win in this situation because there's just no safe space. I can't stay in my room because people go in my room. And then just loads of little things like that. So
Like blocks.
I can imagine that's really difficult because you really have to like go really deep into your past.
Yeah, it was like thinking of childhood when you were like 5,
Yeah.
what happened then, good things, bad things, then 7. And
No, I literally had the same thing. She was like, tell me what you were doing when you were 4 or 5 years old. Like, what's the key thing? And I was like, oh
like,
my
sis.
God. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then she was
Can't
like, think
remember it.
about it. And then I'm like, oh my God, what was I doing at 4 or 5 years old? And then she was like, what about when you were 7 and 8? And I was like, oh God.
It's like you're really sitting there like, damn.
Really have to like deep dive into
scary.
it. Yeah, it's quite overwhelming.
That's the thing though, isn't it? Like I found that with like when I do inner child healing with people, what you said about the safe space is like some people don't have a safe space in their childhood, or like there might be like the first thing that our brain thinks in any situation, the first way it responds is this a fight or flight situation?
Yeah.
And then if that comes up first, then immediately when someone says childhood, how are you supposed to find a safe space?
Yeah.
Like I don't feel safe in my childhood. I want to run. Like this is like really
yeah,
uncomfortable.
yeah.
So like I totally get what you mean when you say like it was scary, or you would get almost stressed in that therapy session because it's like, how am I meant to find a safe space? So I think that's like the first thing that I tend to do with people, notice like how they react to the word childhood or the thoughts of childhood, because I think some of us think, you know, you have to go through this massive trauma, which can be the case, but some of us have very small little traumas that build up, and then that can be someone's trauma. It's just the definition's different for everyone.
I think like recently a lot of people are realising that things that's happened in their childhood has affected them in their future, but like subconsciously you wouldn't think it. And now they're much older, they're like, damn, I'm like this because this has happened. And it's good that they're realising that, and then they could maybe do something or see someone to sort of change how they are now to like better themselves in a way. So I think a lot of people are in their healing era. Like, oh goodness, I've been in this for like a year now, but I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but like you realise what has made you like this, and it's like, I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to better myself. How can I better myself? So then you read a book, listen to a podcast, journal, find like someone to talk to, and then it's like self-improvement. Like I go 1% better each day. Like I'm not going to be 100% better next week, but even if it's 1%, I get to 100, I'll still do 101, 102. So it's just like baby steps.
Yeah, 100%. I think that...
Oh, sorry. No, you go.
I was just going to say, same. Like, it is just like one step at a time. And I don't think anyone's ever going to be perfect, are they? Like,
yeah. I don't think anyone's perfect.
no.
I'm perfect.
I was going to say, though, like, back to what you were saying, it's actually mental how when it all clicks and you're like, oh, my God, this makes sense as to why I behave the way I do. So, like, for example, my therapist said that I had an avoidant attachment.
Sis, let's not go down this road the same.
And she was like, and because of this happened, and this is why you are, and everything was clicking. And then, like, previous situations that I've had, I'm like, that's why that happened, and this is why
like,
this
no
happened.
way.
And that's why I behaved the way I have. And I was like, there was like a light bulb moment.
Ding!
I was like, I said, this all makes sense now. And then I came out of it, and I was like, wow, like. And then she was like, you now need to start being vulnerable to kind of change that. And then there was a moment where I was vulnerable, and I was like, oh my God, I feel sick. Like, I don't want to do
I don't like this.
Like, I honestly felt so like, I just had like this anxiety in my body, and I was like, I know this is not normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, this proper light bulb moment.
No, I think that's crazy because I think I have the same attachment
Maybe this
style.
is why we're friends.
It's weird. I think, in your opinion, do you think if someone has a specific attachment style, can they change?
Yes. I think that's a limiting belief. That's literally where it comes in. So like, say you have an avoidant attachment style, fine, you've labelled it. But if you then go into every relationship and say, well, I'm going to avoid them because of this, this and this.
Because that's just
I'm scared of vulnerability.
Well.
Yeah. Then you will never, you'll always go through life like that. Yeah. And then I think when you start to do more vulnerable things and actually think, well, I'm going to try and do something different than what I've done in the past, that's when you think, oh, like I can be safe being vulnerable. Like it's safe to be vulnerable. And sometimes you might be vulnerable with someone, and then they might like shut you down, and then you'll go back to the avoidant
this is
attachment.
why I'm the way I am.
This is why, this is why.
You're like, I tried, this,
Never
I'm going
again.
back to it.
What's the point?
That's the thing. It's like constant work, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you have to constantly work, and that's why you have to find someone with, you know, an acceptance of who you are. And that's why it's good to label these things, because you can go into a relationship or a friendship and say, I think I'm avoiding you because of this, and I'm going to be open about that.
Yeah.
And then they can take with it what they will, and they can either accept it, and if they don't, then not for you, honey.
That's their problem. That
Yeah,
they need to solve.
That's a you problem.
Yeah. And they've got their own attachment
Yeah.
style, so then that comes into it, and it's not just you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think people can definitely change, but it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And do you do like a lot of manifestation and things like that?
Oh yeah, I love the manifestation stuff. I think that's where I started, and then I realized that I just thought like, oh, well, you can just manifest what you want, like just say it into the universe and write it down, it will happen. And then I realized actually that's not the case, and that's when it led more into like the healing work that I do, because you might be blocking something. So like say you're manifesting like your dream relationship, for example, and then like you've just said about having an avoidant attachment style, then that limiting belief almost blocks you from getting that, because you don't
that first.
and you don't believe you deserve that thing because you haven't uncovered it. And then once you start to believe like I deserve this relationship, like I'm bringing a lot to the table myself, that's when you change like that belief, and that's when you get closer to it.
That
almost,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because to me, manifestation was like,
it's just
the
like
whole, if I keep saying it, it's just going to happen.
People
Like
think
11/11,
Whereas
I
like,
wish this.
yeah, it
And the
has
next
to
day you're
work.
like, damn, that didn't work.
Yeah. It's almost like with the job thing you said earlier. Like when someone else left, it made your belief change, because then your belief is like, oh, well, if they can leave this job, so can I.
Yeah.
And then you're like, then you attracted the other job that you said you got. So it's like, you just, you just, once you start to believe something, but you can say, I am like manifesting loads of money, but if you have deep embedded belief that you don't deserve money, or that you're like not clever enough, you will never get it. So it's just uncovering those things, which is what I discovered. Like I started doing just manifestation, and then I realized like, wait, there's things that get in the way of this.
So what's like manifestation to you? Like what do you, how do you do it basically?
Yeah, so different ways. I think I started out like saying things out loud, but then the same thing, like I didn't actually believe those things. So then I realized, well, that's not going to work. And I think it's just constantly rewiring how you talk to yourself, how you like think about a certain thing. Like I used to think money was like the root of all evil. Like I used to think, oh my gosh, like I watched like people get so stressed with money growing up, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be like that. So then I was stopping myself from making money because of watching this and having this belief. And I was very like, almost like that was something I really needed to work on, because I thought, well, that's the truth. Like I just thought that was the truth. And then I realized actually I can make money and be happy, and I don't have to follow that same, you know, pattern that maybe other people that I've seen have. And slowly I've started to make more and more money and attract more money because...
She's a baller.
Getting there. No. But no, that's the thing, like attracting more money because I believe I deserve money now, and I've changed that. So I think like manifestation to me is just working on my belief system constantly, and that requires like sometimes I'll be like, say if like I check my bank account and be like, oh, I can't afford that. That I'm like, no, you like cannot say that. Like
snap out of it.
Yeah,
Snap
I'm like, that's actually like affecting me manifesting that. So then it might be that I can't afford something, but I'll slightly change the wording. So I'll say, you know, when I get to this day, I will have enough to afford that, or like I have enough to buy food, and I have enough to go out for a coffee, and
Changing
like I'm really grateful for that. Yeah. So yeah, it's different for everyone, but that's what I would say it is for me.
It's actually mental how many, like, there's so many layers you have to peel back.
So
ridiculous.
It's like an onion.
I was going to say that.
I never ate onion. You're peeling. I'm like, bloody hell,
You're
come
the
on.
onion, you're just peeling everything back.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I think it's amazing though, because everyone's capable of it, but a lot of people don't realise that they are.
Do you think that's because they're scared to, or like they just don't want to? Or
I think part of it can be fear. Yeah, I think sometimes people are just like, that doesn't work. but then that's fine. That's like what they believe.
Yeah.
But then maybe that's why they don't have all the things they want.
Like, do you get some people, like, if you speak about this and they
Roll
just
their
like,
eyes.
what the hell are you talking about?
I think I cut out everyone that, that thinks that.
Everyone that said that is not in my life anymore. Get in the bin.
But no, I mean, yeah, there's people that don't resonate with it, but then I just think that's fine. Like, that's their like experience of life, and I totally get it. I used to be the same. I used to be like, oh, like, how can you manifest something like without putting action in? And then I realized actually, like, when you're believing you can do something, you have to do action. Like, you can't win the lottery without like putting like a thing in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Without applying for the lottery.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
unless you're actually putting the actions in, of course you're not going to believe it.
Yeah. But even speaking of the lottery, I actually won £5.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Yeah, twice.
Wow.
Like, I do it occasionally, only if it's over like 50 million, and I'm thinking, I feel it, I'm going to win today. And I got the email, I was like, congratulations. I said, stop it right now. I said, oh
50
my
million.
God. I actually don't know what to do. And when I saw it, it was like, you've won £5. We've entered you into the next thing. And I was thinking, I'll take that £5.
A win's a win.
yeah.
I was like, in my eyes,
Yeah.
I'm a baller.
Yeah.
I can do a lot with
Yeah.
£5. In this, actually, no, I can't. In this economy,
In this day and age.
I think a meal deal's £5 now.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I went into Waitrose the other day.
Baller. Who goes to Waitrose anymore?
This is right next to my work. I don't have a choice. £5 for a meal deal.
That's taking the piss.
Yeah.
£5.
But I think in Tesco, if you don't have a club card, it's like,
Oh no, isn't it £3 on a club card, but then like £3.80 if
That 80p helps.
that ATP, every little helps.
Seriously. Oh no. But we did have some questions for you
Oh, yeah. I'm just going to take
that
a sip of
other
water.
people have
Oh,
asked.
sip away.
Let me turn my brightness up. So one was, do you think there's such a thing as healed, or do you think healing is a continuous journey throughout life?
Thank
Continuous
you. Thank you,
journey.
person. That's quite a good, that's a really good
She's a
question.
good egg, isn't she?
Yeah.
That is a great question. I would say it is a continuous journey. I think you can never be fully healed because, say, if like nothing happened to you from childhood to now, you would still develop something like even in the next year from I've just turned 26 to 27, I will develop beliefs and
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? I will
Mentality
have
will change
experiences.
as well.
Yeah, I will have experiences that change me, and life is a continuous, inevitability of trauma and, great experiences too. But yeah, I would say healing is, you could say I've really healed myself from my past, but I think to keep going and moving through life is to heal constantly.
Yeah. And you don't know, something bad could happen in the next couple of weeks that you'll have to heal from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things like that. And then another one was, what does true happiness look like to you?
Oh, that's really interesting. Because to me, like, for example, success, I think some people might see success as like a great career and a great relationship or lots of money.
Yeah.
But I think to me, like, success is happiness. So I think happiness to me is being happy and grateful for the mundanity of life. So like for the boring parts of life. So like waking up in the morning, going to the gym, like being in a routine, going to work. And I think to me, that's happiness when I'm so grateful for the boring things, whereas someone else might sit there like, I'm so bored, like I need to be doing something. But to me, I'm like, I am just sitting here reading my book and I'm completely content with that.
Yeah, it's the little things.
Yeah, it's the little things that build up. And I think people do think it has to be the big
What
things.
was that? Sorry.
I did see
Sorry,
that.
Daddy was just getting attacked.
Sorry, yeah.
It's
Sorry.
okay. I think it's gone now. But no, yeah, I think some people think it has to be the big things. Like, I have to get that body or get that check or like find that person. And like, while those things are great, that high will wear off eventually. So you've really got to just tune into the boring parts of life.
Yeah, all the little things that
The
you
mundane
do.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
What does happiness look like to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think like all the little small things, like going for a walk or like getting up on a Saturday morning and going for a coffee, or just like the little things that mean nothing.
Yeah.
Are just like so like content in
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. Like, yeah, obviously having money is nice and nice things, but that wouldn't matter in like 2 years' time.
No.
Like, I want to look back when I'm 50 and be like, oh my God, I did all of this. Instead of going, oh yeah, I got loads of money.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
You know what I mean? What's yours?
Happiness. What does happiness look like for Ziora? I think with me being like accepting myself. Like I think when I'm happy, content, being loved, loving everyone, memories.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. Friends.
Yeah, friends is a big one.
And like I'm always like money comes and goes, but like memories are forever.
Yeah.
So like I'd rather make that memory.
That's why she's saying yes to everything this summer and double booking.
Well, we're going to a lot of things. My calendar is full. It just goes Danny. I'm not complaining. But yeah, no, I think memories are very important.
Yeah, I agree. And then, sorry, we had a couple others. Mm-hmm. Within the healing process, there's always pullbacks and dips in the road. How do you not let it make you spiral or think you're taking steps back?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's really interesting. I think you will have dips and spirals, and that's the truth of it. Like, I think, you know, sometimes I've had days where I'm in like a funk, you know, like when you get a funk and I'm just like, God, how am I going to get myself out of this? Like, but I think now I have the tools to work through them. So I will listen to my body and I will like allow myself to, you know, have that bed day, or like some days I might not want to shower, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like it's the acceptance of I'm going to have dips in the road. And whether it's just taking yourself for a walk or like writing, free journaling, like everything you're feeling, then like whatever works for you, you need to find what works for you. And also to meditate during the good times when you're not dipping, so that when you do dip, you have that to fall back on. I think that's it, like keeping up the healing process while things are good.
Yeah.
Because then when things are bad, you are so much more resilient to it. And there is actually part of the brain which is like, it's the prefrontal cortex, to go be sciencey.
Wow.
Oh God, yeah,
We're
I've heard
learning a lot
about this.
this
And
year.
apparently it develops when you're like 25.
Is this your frontal lobe?
Yeah.
It's like
I
there's
always talk about
I say it
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. But the more you meditate, it actually thickens. So
Oh,
like
no
the
way.
prefrontal cortex thickens. So that part where you have like fight or flight, it's harder to be triggered by that when the more you meditate, because you're like continuously thickening the lining. It's so weird.
Be meditating every second of every day.
Yeah, I just was like, I thought, frontal lobe's this thing like when you're 25 and you know
Ding.
exactly what you're doing, and I was like, and like you become more self-aware. I didn't know it was like a thing like that.
Yeah,
That's
there's so many
interesting.
ways it can change, which is why you will have dips, but you just got to keep going you've just got to keep going one day at a time.
Wow. And then one more question, sorry. How do you get into better habits and stay motivated?
Oh, I think it's incorporating them within your normal daily practices. So like, say you drive to work, like instead of put music on, maybe put like a podcast on that like really resonates with you, or
Like ours.
yeah, like yours.
I was literally saying, if it's not ours,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, things like that, or even like my like not like set a non-negotiable. So mine is like I will exercise every morning, and that's mainly because as I go into my day, I know that I will feel so much better for it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just remembering how you feel when you do things rather than I need to do this.
Yeah. And I think that takes time. It's like building that routine. It's not going to be something that you're going to just click and get.
Yeah, exactly. So even if it's like getting up 10 minutes earlier, and then 20 minutes and then 30, like just those really small steps that can change like the whole trajectory of your day.
Yeah. And then this isn't a question, but I thought I'd let you know, is that this person said, please tell her I have ultimate respect for what I can see she does and hope she goes far with it as well. As we all need the positivity and guidance at the best of times.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's so cute. Oh my God.
That's really cute.
Love.
Yeah.
But thank you
for
so
having
much.
me. It's been really fun.
It's an
I love
honour
this
that you're our
episode.
first
Yeah.
guest. Like,
Yeah, I am honoured.
what a
You can come
perfect
back again.
person.
I'll just like next time you're recording, put my head in.
Yeah.
Like you, I'm back.
I know where you live now.
But you know, give everyone your socials.
I'll also
they
put
want
it
to
in,
contact you.
Yeah, coaching with CB.
Comments and stuff.
Yeah, coaching with CB on Instagram, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we'll put it below. But
Yeah.
thank you so much. Every like, subscribe, follow, everything, all the above.
Thanks,
And for Celine
guys.
too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for having me. No, it's honestly been great. It's been good fun. I love talking about all of that.
I love
far.
talking.
I've learned so much as well. What the hell?
Yeah, no, I've learned so
Loads
It's been a
much.
therapy session.
Yeah.
I'm going to go meditate now.
Maybe that's what we'll do today.
In the
the
next
park.
hour, yeah.
But yeah, no, I hope everyone has a fabulous Monday.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.